Welcome in to Rave Church. This is Volume 8. I'm Stefan Lovegrove, and we are here to inspire you today to the sound of some electronic music. I feel like such an old person saying it that way, but the bottom line is we've got some great tunes, some amazing tracks hand-picked just for you and just for this mix today. So listen, while you drive, while you fly, while you play with your kids, or work out, or get some work done, you can use this mix however you would like, however it sees fit, however you see fit, however it can fit into your life. The bottom line is, welcome in everybody. This is Rave Church, and I am so glad you're meeting me here on the virtual dance floor today. Starting us off, we've got a little Stevie Wonder for you today. Shout out to DJ Bryan Neville, live in the room in the mix. Here I am, here you are, here we are together, family. So as we get started today, if you are on YouTube, take a second, like the video, and say hello in the comments. And wherever you happen to be listening, I want you to make sure that you are following or subscribe to the show. I'm talking YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you happen to be listening. Make sure that we are connected. Make sure that you follow or subscribe. That helps us out so much. Thank you to each and every one of my partners who support my work and make mixes and experiences like this one possible. Partners, I love you. And as we begin with this joyful track, I want to give every single one of us the opportunity to have a little gratitude moment. I will remind you, as I often do, that the more we celebrate, the more things we are given to celebrate. So I want you to take a second right now and pick one thing, one unique thing, one new thing, one fresh thing that you are grateful for in this moment. I just did mine. Bryan, did you just do yours? We are grateful over here. And if you are on a platform where you can comment, yes, that includes YouTube. That even now includes Spotify, believe it or not. Would you take a second and comment? Let us know what you are grateful for. We are celebrating with you. The more we celebrate, the more we have to celebrate, family. Wherever you are right now, take a big, deep breath. If you're moving your body a little bit, shake it out for a second. And if you're able to, which I think 99% of you will be, I dare you to smile real big right now as you listen. I have a belief for really everything in my life and every part of my work that it just gets better and better and better. Is that true for you? Because if it doesn't always feel like it, you are invited to claim that one for yourself today. I'm giving you an invitation, family. You can steal it if you want. Steal that belief that it always gets better and better and better. And so I gotta tell you, last Rave Church was extraordinary. I've been told people have listened to it 5 times, 10 times, can't stop listening to it. It was special. But it just gets better and better and better. And so I am believing this one is even gonna be better than that. We're going to a whole nother level today, family. Are you with me? Say hello, let me know in the comments. I was telling Bryan as we were getting ready to record today that my intention for this mix in particular is that it would feel like a back float. Let me explain what I mean. I want it to feel like a back float today. See, when I was in first grade and I was learning how to swim, of course, there were all of these different types of strokes we had to learn, all of these different ways to swim, all of these different types of movements, but I remember maybe my favorite thing that I learned in that swimming class was finding out that I had the ability to do a backflow. Finding out that at any time I had the ability to just lean back, to trust the water, and to fall back into a gentle float. I remember how easy it felt, how gentle it felt, how effortless it felt. When I remembered, when I realized, when I learned that I could just lean back and let go and relax into a back flow. And family, that is how I want this episode, this mix, this experience to feel for you today. I know that so many people have been tired or exhausted or worn out lately. Maybe some things feel difficult or challenging in your world right now. Maybe some things feel heavy or intense in the world right now, no matter when you happen to be listening to this mix. And so as we go into this today, my prayer, my wish, my intention for you is that this will feel like a back float, where you get to take some of that heaviness and pressure off. You get to relax. You get to lean back and let go. I already feel the energy shifting for somebody right now as the music plays. Let yourself receive today. Let yourself trust it. Let yourself go with it. This is for you. It was so clear to me as we were getting ready for this next Rave Church Volume 8 that this one needed to be all about grace. I love that this song says over and over and over again, you give me strength. Maybe somebody needs to hear that message from God right here, right now. I'm with you either way, no matter what, unconditionally, always, always, always. I'm with you right here, right now. I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been wasted. You have an incredible purpose. You have an incredible future. Nothing is lost. Nothing is wasted. I am with you. Hear that message. This entire mix, from start to finish, I have a message for you about this concept that we call grace. And you know I love a good definition. This won't come as a surprise. You already know where I'm going to have to go for a moment. I actually have two definitions, family, that I want to share with you here of grace. When we talk about grace, what are we talking about? So definition number one, grace is God's unlimited favor and supernatural empowerment. That's a pretty good definition. But I'm not going to stop there. I also have a second one, okay? Second definition, an endless, unlimited, unconditional good that you don't have to earn or deserve in any way. And so I believe you're going to feel an energy of grace, a flow of grace, a frequency of grace in all of these songs today. We just went from "You Give Me Strength" to "You Are Not Alone." Can you feel the grace in the mix today? I want you to know today there is unlimited favor in the invisible realm for you. It doesn't matter what happened in your childhood. It doesn't matter what your parents said. It doesn't matter what other people think or what their perceptions are. You need to know today there is unlimited favor for you. There is an infinite empowerment that comes from within. There is an endless, unlimited, unconditional good that you don't have to earn or deserve in any way. We're talking about grace today. And for some of you, this will be a very familiar concept. For some of you, it will feel maybe a little more strange or foreign, and that's okay, no matter where you end up on that map. But I remember one time I heard a quote and it always stuck with me. I heard it said, grace is a higher law than karma. Now, this isn't really a teaching, okay? If it was, I would tell you, write that down. Type that out in the comments. Put that in your notes, somebody. But I get it. You're on the go. You're in action. You're on the move. This isn't really a teaching, but I do want you to sit with that truth as you listen for a moment. What if it was true that grace is a higher law than karma? See, karma describes the basic universal truth, universal law, universal reality that is often known as cause and effect. Karma says every cause brings with it an effect that what you sow, you are going to reap, that the cause is always connected to the effect. And make no mistake about it, this universe is in fact wired that way. Cause and effect is real and universal. But as the key changes, go higher and higher and higher, I want to suggest to you as we get started today, cause and effect is not enough for happiness. Cause and effect is not enough for success. Cause and effect is not enough for trust. And I want to suggest to you today as we get started, grace is a higher law than karma. See, sometimes we all reach the point where we don't feel good about our cause and effect anymore, where we don't really feel proud of all the choices we've made in every single instance, cause and effect. Sometimes we all reach a point where we don't know how to change it, even if we wanted to, at the level of cause and effect. And so I'm here today with a message of hope, with a message of inspiration, with a message of good news. You are not alone. You are not on your own. It is not all up to you. And it's not just cause and effect. Hear me clearly, family. I'm not denying the reality, the existence, the phenomenon of cause and effect, but I am here to tell you today, grace is a higher law than karma. And so we're going to go on a journey of grace for a few moments today. If you have to choose grace versus karma, I promise you want there to be grace there at the end of the day. What about grace versus hustle? I promise you there will be a time where you are exhausted and you're not sure you have more hustle left in you. And there's so many ways we could look at this contrast. Grace versus achievement. I promise you the grace path is easier and lighter. How about grace versus having to be a 100% perfect vibrational match at all times? I don't even have to tell you it that way. Grace is a lighter option by far. I could go endlessly here, but one more I'll give you. What about grace versus performance? And I know some of you listening think it's all about performance. I know some of you listening work so hard on your performance. Some of you listening are all about your performance, but today, we're talking about grace. We're spending some time in the grace zone, and I came to tell you it's not about performance in this zone. We're talking about an unconditional good that has nothing to do with earning it or deserving it. How does that thought land in your consciousness today? Some of you have heard me share this story, but one time I was in a coaching session and I kept using the word deserve. I kept talking about trying to believe that I deserve something, deserve something, deserve something. And my coach said to me, deserve is really such an ugly word in this context because who are you suggesting deserves it more than you? And who are you suggesting deserves it less than you? And maybe we're in the wrong conversation entirely. So today, this is a grace mix. We're in a state of grace here, talking about an unconditional good that you don't have to earn or deserve. And there's a spiritual text I was guided to quote for a little bit here. I love this Rufus de Soul Monkey Safari track. Perfect for this mix. I feel like every track today has the frequency of grace, and I want you to relax into it. I want you to lean back and just backflow right into it. Can you feel the backflow? Can you feel the grace? I want you to take a second and feel the way that your body is breathing all on its own right now. I want you to take a second and feel the way that your heart is beating with life, beating with intention, beating with rhythm, beating with purpose, and you're not doing anything to make it happen. Take a second and feel the way that right now the sun is shining or the moon is glowing. The ocean waves are doing their thing according to the tide. The wind is blowing through the air. And you're not responsible for any of that. You're not making any of that happen. And I want you to breathe in some grace. One spiritual text says this: there has never been the slightest doubt in my mind that the God who started this great work in you would bring it to a flourishing finish. Oh my God, that is good news for somebody today. Because if you started it, then the responsibility falls on you. Have you ever heard little kids fight? Have you heard a fight of some little kids recently? Because you know what it often comes down to is who started it. And there's often a lot of deflecting of responsibility, a lot of finger pointing. No, you started it. He started it. They started it. If you started it, there's a heaviness, there's a weight, there's a responsibility that comes with it. But this text is saying it is God who started something on the inside of you. Would you breathe that truth in right now? And so it wants to reassure you. It's not all on you. It is God who started this great work in you. And the text says, there is not the slightest doubt in my mind that that God who started it is going to bring it to a flourishing finish. I want to invite you to trust that your life will certainly have a flourishing finish when all is said and done, no matter how it started or how it looks right now. I want you to see yourself in your purpose flourishing. I want you to see yourself in your destiny flourishing. I want you to see yourself living in everything you ever dreamed flourishing, because this text wants you to know the God who birthed it, the God who sparked it to begin with, the God who gave you that desire and dream will make sure that you end up flourishing. Thank you, God. You know, that same text goes on to say something that I find so profound. It tells us, my prayers and hopes have deep roots in reality, and And I just felt that somebody needed to hear that today, that you are not crazy, you are not delusional, you have not lost your mind, at least not in a negative way. You might have lost the logic limitations that hold you back. You might have lost the mental chatter. You might have lost some ego noise.
Try your best, but you don't succeed.
But I want to reassure you, your prayers and hopes have deep roots in reality.
When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep.
Another text tells us, friends, you will do best. You will create the best things. You will have the best outcomes when you fill your minds, listen to this list, on the best, not the worst, the beautiful, not the ugly in consciousness, things to praise. We could also word it, things to bless, not things to curse. You know, this is a song of healing. This is a song of change. This is a song of inner transformation playing right now. And I felt led to challenge somebody today. Let go of all thoughts that have been repeating in your mind that are not coming from a place of grace. I hear God saying to somebody today, I can fix your life. Would you fix your thinking? You don't have to fix all of that out there. Would you fix your thinking? And I promise you can do that. You can fix your thinking. You can change your consciousness right here, right now. You can change the way you see it. A miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. Somebody is making that shift in the exact area they need it. You're being perfectly guided even as this song plays. You are being so supported at the deepest level even as this song plays. You have everything you need. You are right where you're supposed to be. You are perfectly on track. And so right now, right here, we're making a shift. We're shifting in consciousness. Letting go of all thoughts that are not coming from a place of grace. Are you ready to let some things go, family? Are you ready to release, knowing it is safe to do so? Here we go. Right here, right now, let go of the striving. You don't have to work for love anymore. Right here, right now, let go of the worry, release that burden, release that care, release that stress. Right here, right now, let go of the comparison to someone else's journey. It doesn't have to look like theirs. Their perception isn't relevant to you. It is safe to release. Right here, right now, let go of trying to earn it, trying to deserve it, trying to force it or manufacture it or make it happen. Let go, let go, let go so gently. Maybe most important for somebody, let go of wondering if you're enough. Let it go. Let go of wondering if you're doing it wrong. I feel that so strongly today. I was praying over this earlier, talking to God about this, and I was even telling Bryan this before we started recording. I feel so strongly, it is on my heart for this mix, that there are so many people listening who have just been plagued by this question of, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing it wrong? I've got to find the next thing to work on. I've got to find the next thing to heal. I've got to find the next thing that is wrong with me and solve it. And I want to invite you, let go of wondering if you're enough or if you're doing it wrong.
I wanna wake up where you are.
Let go of how you have been thinking and telling yourself that the circumstances need to change. What if you're not seeing it fully and correctly and accurately? Let go of what you think needs to change. Let go of what you think you're missing. Let go of what you think should have been there. Let go of how you think people in your world should be different. Ooh, that's a tough one for somebody. But it's safe to release. There is so much peace on the other side. There is so much goodness on the other side. Right now, we're letting go of anything that does not match up with grace. You know, I love that the person who wrote this text was going through something unimaginable. I don't have time to get into the context, but I think it's safe to say probably something more difficult, challenging, intense than 99% of people listening today. And yet they wrote this. Please hear this and breathe this in.
When nothing can change.
From the midst of a very difficult, very intense circumstance, they wrote, I'm going to keep the celebration going because I know how it's going to turn out. I want you to know today, that is our confession. We are going to keep the celebration going. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. Oh my God, I feel this so strongly. We are going to keep the celebration going over your life, no matter what this season looks like. Because we know how it's going to turn out. And so we are letting go of any thought, any idea, any belief that does not match up with grace. It is safe to let go. It is safe to release. It is safe to keep the celebration going because we know how it's going to turn out. Stephen, can I really feel safe celebrating, believing, trusting when I don't know exactly what to do, when I don't know what's going to happen next, when I don't know how to fix or change it all? And if that's you, I have a very specific message for you as Natasha Bedingfield sings. I came to tell you today, you won't be able to calculate it, and that's okay. Because we're not talking about receiving through calculation. We're not talking about receiving through force. We're not talking about receiving through calculation. This is a chapter of receiving through grace. You don't need to calculate it. You don't need to know how. Faith receives what the mind cannot compute. So let yourself open up to a possibility you couldn't even imagine right now. Let yourself open up to the reality of grace. I know somebody right now is listening going, I couldn't have even put words to what exactly I was feeling or what I needed, but it is exactly this. This is what I have been longing for. This is what I have been desperately needing. And I am here to announce to you a state of grace. That from this moment forward, from this day forward, you receive through grace. Oh my God, I feel this so strongly for somebody as that song was playing. The rest is still unwritten. This is what I hear for somebody. I wasn't prepared to say this, it wasn't in my notes, but I feel for somebody today. You have gone this far on the basis of what you know how to do. But see, the rest of your life, the rest of your story is still unwritten. And the reason it's unwritten is because now you get to open up to what you don't know how to do. I don't know if that sounds cheesy. I don't know if that makes sense, but I pray that I can articulate it the way that I feel it. You have come this far doing what you know how to do. But get ready, get ready, get ready. It's about to get so good. Because now you get to find out what is available, what is possible, beyond what you know how to do. Let me know if this is you I'm talking to. Somebody is making the shift into the grace zone today, into what you don't know how to make happen. And that part is unwritten, but absolutely thrilling. You know, one of my challenges in talking about grace is I feel like when we use the word, most people don't truly understand how good it really is, what we're talking about here. See, I think we hear the word grace and we think like, well, you were 17 minutes late for your appointment, Bryan, but we're still gonna let you get the massage today. We're gonna have grace. You were 2 minutes past our deadline, but we're still gonna have grace. And I'm not saying that that's technically untrue, but there is so much more here, so much more goodness than I think most people realize. And I want to say it this way, I want to share it with you this way today. In all of these ancient spiritual texts, when they use the word grace, this is how they viewed it. Okay, to give you a little context. They heard the word grace, and they understood it to mean that the most powerful person, the most powerful force, the most powerful presence in the universe is on your side. And I'm not talking about Mariah Carey, though she is a powerful force not to be reckoned with, especially as we go into the holiday season. at the time of this recording when her powers are the strongest. Shout out Mariah. But I'm so serious here. They would have heard this word and they would have understood it to mean grace means the wonderful news that the most powerful force in the universe is on your side. And so you are the most fortunate. You have it all. You have whatever you want. That was the good news. That was grace. Would you let that kind of grace and that level of good news arrive in your world in this moment? If this mix and this message of grace are speaking to you right now, can I ask you to take a second and share this experience? I'll let you choose where. Pick your favorite social media platform of choice, but the only way that good things in the world expand is when they are shared. We need more love. We need more grace. We need more goodness in the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking a second to share. So I want the fullness of this message, the fullness of the reality, the fullness of the good news to hit you today. That the most powerful force in the universe is with you and within you and on your side. You are an heir to all of the inheritance. You have all power and authority within you. You already have it all. And it's not a contest, it's not an achievement, it's not an award, it's just grace. Would you breathe in the grace? You know, I'm definitely a fan of Jesus, and it's okay if you are or are not, wherever you stand on that personally. But one of my favorite quotes of all time is where Jesus gives the invitation, walk with me and learn the unforced rhythms of grace. And as I invite you into a gentle backflow with this mix today, maybe that quote, maybe those 4 words sum it up best. Maybe what I most want to invite you into today are the unforced rhythms of grace, because as I was getting ready, I felt so strongly some of you have been living in the forced rhythms of fear, the forced rhythms of stress, the forced rhythms of hustle, of achievement, of performance, of always wondering what you're missing, of always wondering what you're doing wrong. And what if we don't have to force anything? Somebody needs to hear this message today. What if nothing that is meant for you has to be forced? I know that's a confronting word for somebody. But that relationship, that connection, that thing that you think is going to make or break your business, that person, that thing, that opportunity, you can't stop thinking about that one that you want so bad. Somebody needs to hear. Nothing that is meant for you has to be forced. And I want to invite you today into the unforced rhythms of grace. It's gentle, it's flowy, it's easy, it's light, it's free. I want you to learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I want to ask you today, what could you receive as a gift? Just because. Let that question take your mind somewhere new. What could you possibly receive as a gift? Not because you were good enough, not because you deserved it, not because you were worthy. What could you receive as a gift? Just because. Let that open your mind. Let that open your heart. Let that open up new possibilities in your consciousness right now. I want to ask somebody today, what would you be willing to ask for if you knew it could flow to you through grace? That is such a big question because some of you have been so afraid to ask for something, to own it, to claim it, to even really think about it for too long, if we're being honest. Because a part of you is so worried. What is it going to entail? What is it going to require? What is it going to cost of me? What is it going to take from me? How is it going to hurt me? Some of you, the past and the pain and the trauma has you stuck, and all you can think about is this really safe? Can I trust it? How is it going to harm me? But I want to ask you today, what would you be willing to ask for? What would you feel safe asking for if you knew it could flow to you through grace? I can feel it. Even before this mix goes live across all space and time, whether it's your first listen or your 12th listen, this is opening people up to something new. Receiving through grace. It's a whole new dimension, a whole new level, a whole new experience of receiving. You might have heard me say before, one of my favorite quotes, that the life of faith is not so much about what you can make happen, but the life of faith is about embracing what God arranges for you. And I want you to hear this word over whatever season of life you're in. It's time. It's correct. It's safe to embrace what God arranges for you. As you go into this next month, this next quarter, this next season or chapter of life, I dare you to embrace in advance what God arranges for you. You say, but I don't know what it is. How do I know there's anything? How do I know it's something good? And if that's you, you might need to get my document and go through my 77 days of goodness to reprogram your mind with some good beliefs. But I promise you, there is goodness meant for you and on the way for you. And I want to invite you today to embrace what God arranges for you. Do you feel the gentleness? Do you feel the spaciousness? Are you leaning back into that backflow? You know, as I was getting ready for this mix today, I was thinking about how 1 year ago, to the week of this recording, I was bracing myself to go into a major vocal surgery. And it was right in the middle of a series I was doing with this community. Let me know in the comments if you were there live. Let me know in the comments if you have since gone through it. But many of you know the series was 77 Days of Goodness. I'll get back to that in a moment. But 1 year ago at this time, I was preparing for vocal surgery, and it was intense, it was scary, it was unknown in many ways, and yet there was so much goodness in it. There was so much grace every step of the way there for me. It all got to be, in the end, a beautiful God experience. I remember, I will never forget, waking up so early the morning of my operation and seeing the most beautiful sunrise and listening to some music that I loved and just talking to God and heading to the hospital with complete peace, with absolute calm. It's not that when the year started I was hoping to have an operation. And yet the whole thing was the most beautiful experience in the end. And I look back on that season, there was grace there for me from start to finish. I want to encourage somebody, no matter what you're moving through in this moment, there is grace there for you. It gets to be an experience of love. It gets to be an experience of joy. There gets to be a peace that passes all understanding from start to finish. Do we underestimate how much life can change in a year? Bryan and I were just reflecting on this as we recorded today. So much can change in a year. So last year, many of you were with me, and we did 77 days of goodness. It was a beautiful journey. Stepping into the belief that God really does want good things for your life. But family, I have a new invitation for you today in this mix, and I don't care if you're listening the day it goes live or decades down the road. I believe this is reaching you not by accident, but on purpose, with divine purpose, right on time. And so I have an invitation for you. I had this thought, this moment of inspiration as I was walking around today, and I suddenly realized at the time of this recording, the day that this goes live, we are 77 days from Christmas. Isn't that wild? Now, you all know I love the holidays. I can't get into that dangerous territory of excitement and passion there. But at the time this goes live, we are literally 77 days from Christmas. And as soon as I realized that, I thought, there's another 77 here for me, God, isn't there? There's another 77 here for us. And so today I want to invite you into, whenever this reaches you, right on time, I believe you're hearing it on purpose. And you are invited into 77 days of grace. That's the invitation for you to step into, for yourself, your world, your life, starting today. 77 days of grace. And there's nothing fancy, there's no curriculum, there's nothing complicated or special or super specific with this one. I certainly will invite you if you want some support. That every single one of the days in those 77, you can connect to my channel, connect to the show, connect to some content or resources that we have put out for at least a little bit every day. And maybe you tune in to the 24/7 live feed that we always have running on YouTube with goodness for your subconscious mind. Maybe you listen to a little bit of RAVE church every day. Maybe you go through a teaching that you feel called to press play on for a few moments each day. go through the original 77 series that so many people have gone through. Or maybe, since my team just put this up the other day, maybe you go through the money playlist and you change your relationship to that. I don't know. And Bryan, can I get some keys after this? I know we have a good song coming up, but I need a moment of keys. I can't help myself here as we talk about 77 days of grace. We're going to have a powerful moment with a song in just a second. But as I said, I was walking around in the gorgeous October day, and I realized that 77 days, we are 77 days away from Christmas at the time of this recording. And again, you start the 77 whenever you hear this, okay? Started in January, started in December, started in July, okay? It's reaching you right on time. But the invitation is 77 days of grace. And again, there's no specific curriculum. I'm not going to be putting out something specific for this. You are welcome to plug in and connect wherever you feel led for a little bit every single day for 77. And if you're new to me, just know we have so many resources available. It's not just Rave Church, it's meditation tracks and affirmations and teachings of all kinds. And, you know, check out the page, check out the YouTube channel, check out the podcast. But here's the gist of it, okay? 77 days of grace is about the state and the frequency and the type of receiving that I have been talking to you about all throughout this mix. And here's my heart that I really pray comes across in this mix. And God, speak through me now as only you can do. I don't want this to be a 77-day blitz where you feel a pressure to pick 5 specific goals and I'm going to commit to these 10 things every day and how are we going to make it happen and how much can we do in 77 days and let's push for 77 days in a row. Okay, I know there is something out there called 75 Hard. I know it has changed the lives of people I love and friends, so I'm not hating on it, I promise. But this is not 75 hard, okay? This is 77 days of grace. And so whatever goals, whatever vision you have already, whatever you're already working on, I'm not saying any of that has to be interrupted. We're not canceling out any of that. But I'm going to be going through this experience, and I want to invite every single partner and every single Rave Church groover and listener and every single person who wants to join me. I want to invite you into 77 days where we just pray from the very beginning. God, I am fully open, available, and ready to receive through grace. Let me remind you, grace is infinite, unconditional good that you don't have to earn or deserve. Grace means regardless of what you set into motion at cause, you still get good at effect. Regardless of what you set into motion at cause, you still get so taken care of and supported at effect. Regardless of what you chose at cause, you still live in the blessing at effect. That is grace. And so I just feel called to invite every single one of you into an experiment, into an invitation of 77 days of grace where you expect unconditional good and unconditional blessing to flow to you the entire time. And you know there is nothing to fix, nothing to solve, nothing to prove to make that happen. Nothing to earn, nothing to force, certainly, nothing to make sure you're good enough or worthy enough or deserving of. We're just talking about receiving unconditionally through grace just because. just because it is a gift, just because you are that loved. And I wonder if we open our hearts and expect that for 77 days in a row. As Dr. Seuss once said, oh, the places we'll go. Oh, the possibilities of what we can receive. So let me know in the comments, or in some way, shape, or form, leave me a comment on social, send me a message, something. I want to know if you are joining me right now and stepping into 77 days of grace. And Bryan, I am now ready whenever you would like for this song, but I wanted to set the stage for 77 days of grace and for the song we're about to go into. The song is called Major. And it's a perfect song and a perfect message for this state of receiving through grace.
I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can.
Just listen to the lyrics for a moment here. Let this wash over you.
I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can. I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can. I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it, I can. I can't explain it, but I know that it's major. I can't explain it, but I know that it's major.
See, what I love about this song
I can't explain it, but I know that
it doesn't
it's
have
major.
a lot of specifics, okay?
I can't
This is not a song that comes on and says, I prophesy houses, I prophesy wealth, I prophesy lands, Ferraris, inheritances. This is not a song full of specifics. This is not that kind of promise, that kind of message, that kind of song. But what this song says over and over and over again is, I can't explain it, and I may not know how, and I may not have specifics, but what I know, what I know at the core of my being, what I can feel, is that it's going to be major. It's going to be significant. It's going to be life-changing in the best way possible, and so much better than I can imagine. And so with my inner eye, I can see it. In the invisible realm, before it shows up physically, I can hear it. And on the deepest level, I can trust it. On the deepest level right now, I can say yes to it. On the deepest level right now, I can receive it and know that it is done. Breathe this in. And I speak this over every single one of you who is stepping into 77 days of grace. I am claiming this for myself, and I'm claiming this for you, and I invite you to claim it with me. I don't have to know how. I don't have to compute or calculate it. I don't have to be able to explain it. But I am telling you right now, Bryan, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be major. I'm putting it out into the world. I'm announcing it. I'm saying it by faith the way I want to invite you to say it. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to be major. So good. This is 77 days of grace. This is the invitation. I can't explain it. I may not have all the details. I may not have all the significance. But I will tell you right now, it's going to be special. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be major. It's going to be so good. It's going to be better than anything I've ever experienced.
I sing miracle.
You know, 3 months ago, I didn't even have a celebration wall. And now it's right behind Bryan. All of those celebrations, just within the last 3 months, I literally see miracles. And family, I don't just see them for me, I see them for you. Jacqueline Carr is singing it, and I am affirming it over you. I see miracles. You are a miracle, and a miracle is a perfectly reasonable thing to ask for, because a miracle is what you are. Oh, you better own it. You better claim it. You better say it. I am a miracle, and so I expect miracles. Somebody put that in the comments. I am a miracle, so I expect miracles. Over the next 77 days, I expect miracles. I release my faith right now over the next 77 days. I sow something right now, and I believe for the next 77 days. I don't know all the details, but I don't sweat it. It's gonna be major, it's gonna be major, it's gonna be major. Faith calls things which are not as though they were. It speaks the end from the beginning. And so I speak over your life, over your 77 days right now. I see miracles. I expect miracles. I expect something amazing as you receive through grace. I speak it for me. I claim it for you. It's gonna be major. And I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I pray you're feeling it. It's gonna be major, family. 77 days of grace.
Standing in a crowded room and I can't see your face.
We have one more opportunity to receive in consciousness. One more opportunity to lean into a glorious backflow. One more opportunity to celebrate together.
I'm running around a cold and empty space. Just put your arms around me, tell me.
I want you to feel God is doing exactly that right now. Embracing you with a hug, the arms of love around you, telling you it's all going to be okay. It's not just gonna work out. It's gonna work out way better than expected.
Darling, hold my hand. Oh, won't you hold my hand? 'Cause I don't wanna walk on my own anymore. Won't you understand?
I know this is maybe a weird visual, but what's coming to me, what I feel right now is it's almost like God is holding our hand as we skip into a new chapter together. As we skip down the road of receiving through grace.
Slowly like a melting pot when you're not next to me.
I came to tell somebody today, this is not just the beginning of a new season in your life. This is the beginning of a new sound.
Trying to find a moment where
It's a new sound. It's a new message. It's a new frequency.
please tell me that you got me and you're
And it's one of embracing what God arranges for you.
break my bones, but you won't see me fall.
I know you've already found out what you are capable of. I know you've already found out what you can make happen.
Against them all.
But aren't you ready to step into the infinite?
Darling, hold my hand. Oh, won't you hold my hand? 'Cause I don't wanna walk.
There's something so perfect about that as we step into grace. Just hold God's hand. It's not all up to you, family. There is so much love there for you, so much support there for you. This mix is about to come to a conclusion, and I just want you to be clear as it does. Your 77 days of grace are officially beginning right here, right now. Are you ready to find out? No fear, all possibility, what is there for you to receive. As they say on The Bachelor, let the journey begin. Let the receiving begin. Let the grace begin. We can call this chapter Your Unforced Rhythms of Grace. This is Rave Church. I can see it, I can hear it, I can feel it. I sure can. And I can't explain it, but it is about to be major. I want somebody to type that out in the comments. It's about to be major. Family, we made it to the end of this mix, and I just want to begin by saying, if this has been speaking to you, if you know that this was for you today, if this has been resonating with you on a deep soul level, I want to boldly and unapologetically encourage you to share it. You can pick your favorite social media platform of choice, and you can decide where and how you would like to share this with your community. But it would mean the world to me if you would take a second and share this episode. The only way that good things expand is when we share them. And may I just say, we really couldn't do it without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. As always, I want to give a big thank you to my partner in crime when it comes to Rave Church, DJ Bryan Neville, for always putting so much work into creating these mixes with me. And really, just being the best person I could have ever asked for to co-create this experience for you. So shout out to Bryan, thank you to Bryan, and I know that he's very booked and blessed right now, but if he happens to have a free spot on his calendar when you happen to be having an event, I certainly recommend him 1,000% for all your DJ needs. Whew. I feel like I just need to take a big receiving breath in for a moment. Will you join me in that, family? Let's take a giant breath in. And release. And as you just heard me say a few moments ago, 77 days of grace has officially just begun. I want to encourage you that you really are hearing this right on time and at just the right time. So whatever season of life you are in, whatever is going on in your world, wherever the calendar happens to be, this is your 77 days of grace. I want you to let me know in the comments if you are going on that journey. And again, there's nothing you have to sign up for. I certainly do want you to tell me so I can bless you and pray for you and just celebrate with you in advance. But this is really very simple, okay? I don't even have a lineup of content planned for this. Please don't think this is like a sequel or a repeat or that it's going to be exactly the same of 77 days of goodness, okay? Very different thing going on here, but this is a journey that I felt called to go on and to take you on, to invite you to join me on, where we simply get to find out what is possible for us. Not through hustle, not through force, not through achievement, but rather receiving through grace. And may I just say, though there is not specific content coming your way for the 77 days, there is obviously so much available and there are so many resources here for you. And I would love to go with you on this journey. I would love to encourage you all the way through your 77 days of grace. If you and I are not already connected, you can go to a very simple website, lovegrove.club, and sign up there. When you do, I will send you my favorite teaching of all time as a free gift right away. And you will receive consistent messages of support, encouragement, and inspiration right to your inbox. So feel free to sign up there if we are not already connected at lovegrove.club. Also, just know that there is so much here for you, and you don't have to be a member, you don't have to buy anything, you don't have to sign up, but All of this is a free gift that we put out into the world for anybody who wants it. And I really pray that you can use it to a maximum degree in your life. So wherever you happen to be listening to this mix, whether that is YouTube, whether that is a podcast platform, just know there is so much goodness here. And all you have to do is hop onto the channel, open up the podcast feed, and press play on something that speaks to you for a little while, every single day of the 77. But again, I am so excited for every single one of you going on this journey. I would love to encourage you all along the way. And you might as well start getting ready now. You might as well start celebrating now all the amazing things that are going to unfold in your life over the next 77 days. So welcome everybody to 77 Days of Grace. And even as this mix ends, 77 Days of Grace is beginning right here, right now. Last but certainly not least, in this episode today, I want to shout out and I want to give a giant thank you to my incredible and generous partners all over the world who give to make content just like this possible. Partners, thank you, thank you, thank you. You mean the world to me, and I truly could not do it without you. If you want more information on becoming a partner or what that is all about, you're just curious, you can get all of the details and all of the options online at lovegrovepartners.com. We will link that, of course, in the episode description as well, but that's lovegrovepartners.com. And certainly, whether you are a longtime partner or a first-time listener or anywhere in between, if something in this mix was for you today, if this message spoke to you in a very personal and significant way, you are certainly welcome to receive it and to participate in an energy exchange and sow into this good ground if you feel called to do so. And the only thing I will say is on whatever platform you choose to give at lovegrovepartners.com, we try to have a section there on every single one where you can share with me what you are believing for. I know many of you are going to be using your faith in this moment, stepping into something new in this moment, setting something into motion and scheduling it in your future right in this moment. And so if that's you and you feel called to give today, please, please, please let me know what you are believing for. I read every single one. I pray over every single one. And it would be an honor to stand in agreement with you. For everybody who is giving today, I bless you as you give. May you be guided into your highest and best. May everything that you do prosper to a maximum degree. May you experience in the days to come what it truly means, what it feels like, how good it really is to receive through grace. May all of your steps be ordered. May all the decisions you make be the right ones. And may your experience of 77 days of grace be undeniably divine and utterly life-changing. I bless your seed. I bless your harvest. I bless you into a 100-fold return. Thank you, thank you, thank you for giving and believing in me and supporting this work. And that is all that I've got for you today in this Rave Church mix. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I am so eager and so ready to find out what unfolds for people as individuals all over the world go on their own 77 days of grace journey. But that does it for me here. I will see you back here soon on the virtual dance floor. Keep me updated as the celebrations roll in. I love you. I believe in you. And the best is yet to come.